Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the Ordering Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And that team, which I'm a part of, since 2020, we reached out directly and indirectly to over 300,000 fathers, dads, and male caregivers around the world. I also am a featured contributor of the Fly Nubian Queen YouTube channel, which is the place for Black women. I can't remember the full mantra. I'll find it. I'll find that. Where Black women have a place. That's what the tagline is. And that's on YouTube. That has a dedicated subscriber base of 581,000 subscribers. And that's powered by Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. I also am a contributor to the Indie Suit Media TV network, which is a fairly new OTT network where my content from many different platforms that I host and produce share. This is one of the shows that's on that network, and that's powered by a good friend of mine and the Dr. Vibe Show, Dr. Tachi, and that reach is over 1 million individuals. So what we'll do, I've actually changed a topic in the more just to chat well before we get our new friend up. I was listening to a story last night. How many people, well, I know it's a question, but I never make assumption. How many people are familiar with the term AI? AI. But do you realize how much energy it takes to produce AI? And it's really interesting. I was listening to this report. The amount of energy or servers it takes to produce an AI search is crazy. It's crazy. And now I'm hearing reports that the amount of energy may lead to some energy crunches. Like I was reading this report that is it NVIDIA, which is a major company that produces AI components or chips. It's something like 100,000 servers they're shipping to Google for AI, which is out of bounds. 100,000. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, people who are into stocks, and if you're in the stock market, invest in AI companies, not just the NVIDIAs and all that, but whatever the companies who are, have to produce energy and all that. It's a whole ecosystem. AI is not just a search only. It's a whole ecosystem. The manufacturers of the chips, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't understand about AI, why don't you think about maybe investing in some companies that are in the AI game? Just a thought. Just a thought. What about investing in some of those companies in the AI game? Because that's where some real money is going to be made for years to come. As it said, AI is not going away. It is here full-fledged. So don't miss out on the game.
And that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harry Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harry Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. No, really, the rappers get all the attention. Seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Over like the twerkers and the just people that don't always represent the best of us, the diversity, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr. Vibe he's trying to do good work for Black people.
Dr. Vibe from Toronto, good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe, everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him. The men who are also doing the same thing. I see Dr. Vibe in here. He's a great brother. Everybody should follow Dr. Vibe, by the way. He's a smart brother in Canada, and we need to follow smart people. So follow Dr. Vibe if you see him in the chat. And Dr. Vibe, say your name in the chat so people can see you. I want you to click on his name, and I want you to go follow him, please, because I want these men and women that are doing the right things to get the support they deserve. Hey, Dr. Vibe, how you doing, brother? Again, like I always do, I gotta say everybody should go follow Dr. Vibe. He's got a great show. Dr. Vibe, I know Dr. Vibe's got a kingdom because I see your channel. I see you pouring into that every day. Everybody should follow Dr. Vibe, by the way. Look him up, Dr. Vibe, Vibe. He's a great friend of me and my wife, and I love this guy. Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot. And he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back, helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
Our friend is here. She is ready to roll. She is looking amazing. She's ready to rock the house. And as I said, she is the driving force behind this wonderful organization called Black Women Collective. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to put the website up on the screen, Black Women Collective, right up here. You'll get a chance to see what they're all about. There we go. Empowering Black women entrepreneurs. There she is. Do you want to meet her? I want to meet her. Love your necklace heart on you. That is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Good. That is fantastic. And what's the significance of, what's the story behind that necklace? Because obviously you picked that for a reason, because it stands out.
I don't know. I think it represents my personality. It represents the thing that I do, like my whole career and the work that I do. It's all about love, and that love can be transformed to everybody. If you radiate love, then you will receive it back.
Excellent. Well, not always. We can't control what other people are going to do, but someone will, right? Someone with the universe will work, right?
Definitely, but I'm all about energy.
So, Allison, first time we're meeting each other, can you share with myself and the Morning Vibe family some of your background?
Okay, so my background is so I'm a social worker, and I've been a social worker for over 36 years, working in 3 countries, the US, England, where I was born, and now Canada. I've worked in various areas of social work, and I've done a lot of work with children and families. And one of the things that I am passionate about is helping people to be their best version of themselves, in particular our community. And then about 20 years ago, maybe not 20 years ago, maybe about 15 years ago, I really felt that some of the knowledge and experience social workers get all this information, that there are people that need this information. And so to help them be the best version of themselves in regards to parenting, like there's so much information out there around how to do things a little bit different. And so I went and trained as a coach and came out as a parenting consultant to do some work with our community and people who were ready to want some change or wanted some support or advice or training, whatever it looked like. But one of the things that I didn't realize, I'm not sure why, because I've been in the field for such a long time, is that parenting today is closely aligned with our ego. And so people don't really want a parenting coach until things are going wrong. And so it was a time where I was really thinking, how should I approach this? And so I collaborated with some organizations, because at that time I lived in Alberta, and I started to teach from the stage and bring controversial documentaries and bring parents and professionals together to have that conversation about what are the parenting norms, what things needs to be changed, and etc. Especially around, you were talking about AI earlier. We were just talking about, a lot of my focus at the time was to talk about how technology is affecting children's brains.
With your journey, where does the passion for serving come from? Serving and helping.
I think it comes from my experiences. It comes from growing up at a time that the UK, where I was born, my parents are the parents of the Windrush. So we were the first Black children who were in the systems, in the institutions like schools and etc. And so we had some overt stuff happening, some overt racism, and it was impactful. And at that time, I think that I came close to really understanding my community, because we were all experiencing some of the things that impacted our ability to show up and be our best selves in the classrooms, as well as even at home, because our parents wanted us to be Jamaican and Caribbean, and we wanted to fit into a system that was very different from our home life. So there was so much awareness so early, I think. And so it was recognizing that although our parents were doing the best they could, I think there was a missing gap about how we were able to shift into being children of Jamaican, Caribbean descent, as well as trying to show up with not having smelly lunches while everybody had boiled eggs, or they had nice little ham sandwiches, which was foreign in our house. So I think it was just having that awareness at such an early age.
You mentioned different groups that you served, but you didn't mention Black women. So my question is, where did the energy, as you said earlier on, come to start serving and amplifying Black women come from?
Yeah, great question. Where did it come from? I have always wanted to serve my community. And despite what people believe when you're a social worker, that you get to work with your community, but actually the evidence says that our community are less likely to get services. They're less likely to be so they're less likely to be referred into specialized services like maybe that I worked in, and so that I typically didn't work with my community, and it was something that I really wanted to. And let's say it was a perfect storm. I've always wanted to. Every time I've talked about working, particularly with a group, people have tried to encourage me not to kind of what's the word, niche down in that way. But I think what happened during COVID was it became louder and louder for me that I wanted to work with my community. But something else happened, because in the middle of that COVID, we moved from Alberta to Ontario, and here I was, qualified parenting coach, qualified social worker, but I didn't have resources. I didn't have connections. I was in a foreign place yet again, and we were stuck in our houses. And if I'm truly transparent, what happened was the imposter syndrome grew and grew. And what happened was I would, at that time, everywhere you look, there was parenting advisors on the shows, all these different shows. And then I would look them up, and they were nowhere, they didn't have that experience. They didn't have the skill. And I kept saying, what's getting in the way of me being on the TV, offering this, than this woman who doesn't look like is white is offering and doesn't have any experience or training or qualifications? And I felt like I needed to go away, get a coach again, and do some work on myself. And what happened was I needed to let go of that thing that kind of was creeping up, which is about some of the oppressive practices that are already in our society, in our communities. and that we are kind of, as Black women, we are not really understanding how we are impacted daily by the things that say we're not enough. So what happened was I decided, you know what, how could I had this aha moment, and I was like, how could I believe that I'm descended from kings and queens and I don't feel I'm enough? So this is what I did. I decided that I'm going to embody it. I'm going to do what I tell my clients to do. I'm going to embody it. So I went out and I bought a crown and I wore it everywhere for a month.
Come on.
Shopping, I wore it to
Come on.
I wore it everywhere. I wore it to my husband's workplace. And guess what happened? Guess what happened, Dr. Vibe?
What?
The same thing that happened to you. Big smiles. People were like walking to me. They couldn't wait to kind of interact with me. People were like excited to see me. People would come up, is it your birthday? Are you getting married? Congratulations. And even when I'm like, I live in an area where there's a lot of people walking, and it was huge. And so we are energy first. So what was happening, endorphins were releasing, and I was realizing I'm embodying my crown, and that I don't actually need to wear this crown because I already know, because I started to stop wearing it and I was still receiving the same things. And that suggests that sometimes we need to push ourselves out of the way in order to step into who we're supposed to be. And that, what came out of that was I believed that I needed to take one imperfect action every day and move away from that perfectionist and really. And what did I want to do for a long time? I wanted to work with my community. I wanted to help my community. I wanted to help Black entrepreneurial women. So I created a meetup group because I wanted to be look across the room and see people that look like me, sound like me, and had the same aspirations. And I want to say this before I tell you what I did. As Black women, we had three intersectionalities. We're Black, we're women, and we're entrepreneurs, which are three different types of people, really, because we have three different types of needs. And the intersectionality means that we kind of need some different support systems, access. So I then went out and created the Black Women Collective. No, actually, let me backtrack. I created Black Women Rising, Wearing Our Invisible Crown meetup group. And within the first month, I had over 100 women. I hadn't even set up a meetup yet. And I was starting to get like goose pimples. Oh my God, that means that people want this. And then let's say within 8 months, I had over 1,000 women on that platform all over North America. And that said, it dispelled the myth that Black women don't want to be together. It dispelled the myth that Black women don't want to come together, help each other, support each other, connect with each other. And that with my coach and my business advisor, every time I kept talking about the parenting consultant, they said, Black women are coming. They want something. Let's sit down and think about how we're gonna serve these women. And so that was the birth of the Black Women Collective.
Why was it important for you to have a coach? And I want other people to hear that. Like, I am a professional certified coach since 2015, but talk about why did you, and it sounds like you still have coaches when you need them. Why has that been important for your journey?
I think sometimes there's so many reasons why you should have coaches, but I think coaches help you. If you're a forward thinker and you want to get things done, life often gets in the way, and sometimes it limits our ability to move forward. I love having coaches because they not only help me arrive at my goal, but they also impart their knowledge and their wisdom as a part of that journey. But that's not to take away that, Dr. Vibe, that coaches, you can have coaches for different things. And I think that's the gift of having coaches. I like having an accountability partner in your pocket all the time and hold you accountable. And we need to be held accountable, especially as an entrepreneur. I think they're really, really good because they when you're out here working on your businesses, you tend to sometimes get lost with all the tasks and everything. But with my what I find good with coaches and is the fact that they help me stay on track, help me arrive at my task, and also help me problem solve. And so that's one of the biggest things for me about coaches are like that they are worth the they're worth whatever you pay for your coach. It is worth it because they move you from A to Z often and then some.
Let me ask, or let me conversation piece. Go back to the first meetup. Can you share that moment?
Yeah, the first meetup. So I would say I was super nervous because now I was stepping into my dreams of having a room full of Black women all over North America who was going to vibe with me. And so as I heard because I had my phone where I could hear when people signed up. And so it just kept going, blink, blink, blink. And I would have to say, I was having goose pimples. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be enough. I had a crazy, like, oh, I'm not going to be enough. Oh, what should I say? How should I say it? And when I got on that meetup, that first meetup, it was just so beautiful because here I was with a room full of women. We were just talking about being an entrepreneur and being Black, or being Black and being an entrepreneur and being female. And we were just having some real down-to-earth conversations. But again, what was really even more powerful was hearing women said, I've been looking for a space like this. I've been looking for a place where I can come and I can feel safe. I can talk about the things that are really affecting me. I can show up without having to put any masks on. I can just be me. And so, yeah, it was a really, really good first event.
What does your organization do? What's the mission? I could read it off the website, but I'd like to hear it from people's hearts.
So our mission is to help Black women build, grow, and sustain their businesses through community. So one of the things that's very different, and when I worked hard on my business plan was that, and done the research, was that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are so many organizations out there that have resources. So let me go back and start with our business is, our vision and mission is to help Black women build, grow, and sustain their business through community. And within that community, we build connections and collaborate with organizations to help women have access to their resources.
What are the 3 biggest challenges that women you amplify come to you with when it comes to running their own business?
Great question. The first one is funding. The second one is time.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing is real access to information.
What sort of information? What comes up when they say information? That's a broad. Are there some things you hear on a regular basis?
Yeah, there's some things about one is really not knowing your numbers, not really having an understanding about numbers, and unfortunately, in my space, what I'm hearing is that they don't have time to figure that out because they still have that hustle mentality of just going out there and just selling their product or service. And so what they are one of the biggest things they keep asking for is the resources to help them understand how to build their business successfully.
Question for you, or conversation piece for you. Do you hear they want more time or more money more?
More time, because
there we go. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you So I have 3 value propositions. So I do, and so one of the value propositions that I work on is a particular group of Black entrepreneurial women who probably have a degree, probably have done their job in their career for about 2 years and realize they want something different. The research speaks to that's often because they are impacted by the oppressive practice, microaggressions, and really want to position themselves to move out of their day job into their full, whatever their business that they want to provide or service. And so a lot of them are talking about time. Money is, of course, a part of it, but it is time because they are trying to balance. Our group is very special because it is most Black women do not have the luxury to just leave their day job and go and work on their business full time. So time, when I'm talking about time, even though that's a factor that is in the why, but the time is actually to get all the information they need in order to successfully build and grow their business.
It's interesting because I think many studies, especially in the US, show the fastest growth sector of entrepreneurship is Black women.
It is, but we're the fastest coming out.
Yeah. And I think, and it's interesting in relationship, what's going on in the world with DEI in the corporate world. I'm sure a lot of Black women are feeling the brunt of those pressures.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Your clientele, are they doing business and services in any predominant sectors, or is it sectors all over the map?
Great question. So I would say, Dr. Vibe, it's across the spectrum, and I'm telling you across the spectrum in terms of what they want to do, from the AI space to trying to build residential homes for the Black community.
I know a lady in that. We need to chat after this because probably you and I probably speak to some of the same individuals. I have a feeling when you say that specific niche, there's one lady that's coming up specifically in my head. I'm going, I wonder if Allison spoken with her, but go on.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about that, Dr. Vibe, what's happened for me in the last year as I've been building this business, because the Black Women Collective is a social enterprise.
Right.
And so it's a non-profit, but it's under the non-profit, but it's a social enterprise. So it's really there to help pull communities and make connections. And so what you've asked me, what are the typical things? But I tell you what's really interesting is the collaboration. So I've been trying to pull in Canada, there's about 3 or 4 women I know who's trying to do a residential. So I've been trying to pull those. What I try to do is connect the dots so that instead of doing it by yourself or being by yourself, why don't you be in a room with women all vibing and thinking about doing the same thing? You can either work together, collaborate, but there might be some synergies of how you can support yourself. And so that's one of the things that's really important for me, because I think that sometimes we as a community, there's this urgency, and then there's this scarcity mentality. That's where we and I don't think it's often conscious. I think it's unconscious that we feel that we have to do it by ourselves and we have to kind of do it in these silos. But one of the things that the values that we're trying to achieve is that no, we can do it as a community. We can connect if we're doing the same things. If we are coaches that are a business, why are we not all in a room together, seeing how we can join forces and make a much more powerful impact to our community and outside? So yeah.
What during the journey, what was your first big win with this vision?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I would say the first big win was the collaboration piece, when with Scotiabank. That was a great win because I got to be in a room with some amazing women who could make things happen for the Black Women Collective in terms of access to those resources. And I just want to add that, so the first thing that I got was access to the mentorship program that's a Scotiabank Women Initiative has as part of their programming. And I asked for, this is the thing about asking for what you want. I said, I'm going to tell you my wish list, and I'm hoping that you're going to give it to me. And I said, I want all the Black Women Collective who are members to have access to your mentors free of charge. And she said, done.
There you go.
There you go. My big win.
Well, and it's something I really amplify with people. Don't be afraid to make your big ask because you don't know what they're going to say.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't say, oh, they're going to say this. If you haven't asked them, you don't know. You 100% don't know. How this has been going on for a year now?
Yes. Nearly 2 years actually, but a year as a business.
What's been the biggest challenge for you during the journey?
Now, this might sound controversial, but I think it has been that it's been about Black women struggling to prioritize their learning as part of their business growth.
You know, a good point. I want you to go deeper in that, but I always like to share with people, everyone has a to-do list, but you need to have a to-learn list. Why do you feel that's a struggle for them? Or what reasons do they give you saying it's a struggle for them?
Time, money being a big issue. So money and time. But I don't think it's money. I think it's a mindset, because our membership program is only $1 a day. It's not even, you know, if you bought even a Tim's a day, like it's so it's not the money. I think it's mindset that they'd rather buy a coffee, which they could make at their house. And this is judgment free, but it's more trying to help to get into understanding what is the biggest challenge is that believing that you're worthy enough, that's important to take your resources and pour into your learning and your growth.
Investment versus expense.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
How do you develop relationships? For example, you mentioned the Scotiabank. How does Allison develop the relationships with the service providers to help your clientele? What's that process?
So, what's that process? Great question. For me, it's just doing the thing that comes natural for me, which is to, I love talking. Haven't you noticed? I love talking. And
I wouldn't figure. Come on now.
Yeah, and you know what they say is that you have to be aware of your assets, right? I have an asset. Sometimes I forget it, but I have an asset. Is that
it's natural for you? You don't forget it. You just roll with it.
No, but I do. But also, I use I sound different when I speak. People don't expect me to speak the way I speak, right? And so what happens is that I know that has leverage for me. So when I'm in the room and I'm at an event, I target the women that I believe may be able to bring opportunities through conversation. So one of the things, what's my process? I listen. I listen to other women and I listen to what they're saying. and then I start to build relationships with them.
You're using one of my favorite words, relationships.
Yes, and that's what I do. And so when I like take you through when I the University of Toronto, and I used a lot of their research. They're the only organization they're called WIC. They were the only organization that has done research on Black entrepreneurial women in Canada. I use a lot of their research for my business plan. And I said to myself, I want to do business with them. I want them to do research with me. I want to work in partnership with them. And so I positioned myself in those rooms and built relationships with them.
So listen, family, listen to some of those words: relationship, positioning, research. Keywords, very, very key in regards to that. With the women you amplify, how many of them mention the word marketing?
That's so good question. I know I say that. I keep saying quick, good question.
Well, I'm humbled. Thank you.
Marketing is a big thing because it's like being in quicksand. No one knows what they're really doing, but they've got to get across, right? They're going to make it happen. And all women talk about marketing. Even if they're in a marketing that's their niche, marketing is a big conversation in the rooms. Most definitely.
Absolutely. Do you have any, when you do stuff with your group, do you ever have any men come in and share? Because it's women centric, but do you ever have any men come in and share with your family? Wow. Okay.
No, it's this actually is a conversation that I've been having with the women over and over again about whether we want, how they feel about men coming into the rooms to do presentations. And it isn't that it's a hard no. It's just if they have information that can impart, that's going to be helpful to their business growth, then I'm open to that. The room is open to that. The women are open to that. But we've decided that in the monthly meetups, that's not where they come. They come when we create extra events where they know that it's men, and then they can make a choice whether they want to be there.
Interesting. You got it locked down. Okay. That how do you feel about that?
How do I feel about
no men?
Do you know, honestly, let me be clear. I think that the whole point of the Black Women Collective is to build those relationships and access to resources. They come in all shapes and sizes. Mm-hmm. And the goal would be to build relationships, strong, healthy relationships with many organizations that have the resources or accessibility or information or training so that Black women can have can have that step up that they need, more around that accessibility. So, and the research speaks to that Black women tend to stay in the rooms where they don't have those accessibility. They won't go out of the door and they won't go into the rooms. So my job in the Black Women Collective is to open those doors for them so that they give them a safe passage in, to know that they should be able to step into those different rooms, even if the people don't look like you, sound like you, and are not necessarily most comfortable, but get them to be comfortable in those spaces so that they can have those resources they need.
Fair enough. More than fair. You've had how has your journey aligned with what you're doing today?
That's really a great question. I as a social worker, let me tell you a story. When I first moved here from England in 2008, I told my girlfriends, I am not going to be a social worker anymore. I don't want to do that. I have other gifts and I'm working on them. And I'm going to build a business, which was my first one was My Baby Bakery. And I was really excited about that. They all laughed at me. They said, you are social work. It's in your bones. So it's my vocation. And so how does it align? Because I'm helping people be the best version of themselves. I'm giving them resources. I'm helping them navigate systems that they don't necessarily feel comfortable. I'm advocating for them. I am guiding them and I'm coaching them. All the things you do as a social worker.
Good stuff. Well done. How challenging is it for the women that are members of your organization who have families? What do they tell you about balancing work, life, family?
You know, Dr. Vibe, it's a great question because this is one of the big things that come up. So we have regular sessions, though we have masterminds, we have growth mindset meetings, not regularly, but not every week or something. And they find it very difficult. Women find it very difficult to put themselves first. So when I'm hearing is that I have to take my children to this appointment, I have to this event, or they've got football practice, they've got basketball practice, they've got this practice, they've got Kumon or whatever. And so that's the thing is that, and when I say to them, that's really, really great. But what one Thursday a month, you couldn't ask someone to help you out with that. And it's about prioritizing you. I find that our community prioritizing themselves is something that's kind of foreign. And I'm not talking prioritizing yourself and going and getting your hair done and massage. Not that those things are not important, or going out for dinner, but prioritizing the things that you need for your mind, body, and soul are not necessary on everybody's A-list, because everybody, that underlining urgency about getting things done and getting things that I haven't got time for this. I haven't got time to sit in a room and talk to women and learn a little bit. I've got this to do and I've got this to do and I've got to build a business. So I think family, historically, Black women put their children and families before them. We are designed. We've been conditioned to do that. I think that strong Black women needs to be kicked to the curb. That's a language that's not helpful for us. It takes away from us because as much as we say we're the fastest growing women going into entrepreneur, we know that we're smart, we're intelligent, but don't necessarily have the resources. But we also are the women that are the most likely to struggle with our physical health and our mental health, because we are trying to do so many things at once and no one's taught us how to prioritize themselves first.
How much of the heart work do you do involves mindset?
I'm all about mindset. All about mindset. I swear I am. I am. And you know why? Because, and also I feel like I come from a position, I have 4 children and I have 3 young men who are living in different parts of this world and who are all entrepreneurs as well and successful men. And I eat, sleep, and drink mindset because I see how powerful it is. I know when mine is in struggle and what I might need to do. Hence why I believe coaches are so powerful to help you get out of that that loop that we can get into. Growth mindset is ability to make sure that you know that you have the ability to do anything, rather than feeling that this is your lot. This is what you need to just push through in order to thrive or survive. And I think Dr. Vibe, mindset is it's the key to success.
In your conversations with your family, I call the Black Women Club family, how much does mental health come up, if at all?
Mental health comes up a lot.
I since you've only been running this for a year, but I would like to have known how much it would. Okay, let me go back. In your conversations with your family, how much has did the pandemic impact them to having their own business? Or did they ever talk about the post impacts of the pandemic on them as individuals?
I don't think we've really had a conversation on how the pandemic affected them, but what we've had a conversation is about within that pandemic, they were able to be still. So we've really talked about the pandemic as something that was positive.
Good.
Actually, we've talked about it a time of rest,
Good.
a time of intuitive learning about who am I, where do I want to go, what do I want to do with my life, and an opportunity to step into that has led them to where they are now, which is whatever they have been doing. Of course, we've had lots of women who have talked about being in and out of business for many, many years, and we've talked about the pandemic more in the sense of the realization about what oppression looks like and the impact of racism as a mother, as a daughter, and as a individual, and what they need to do different and how they need to support their families and even themselves. So we've talked about much more access to resources for Black women. I think it opened the door for women to feel it's safe to say I need to go into therapy, or even talk about feeling depressed, feeling sad, feeling lonely, feeling isolated is a key thing, that isolation. So, and what I've really been trying to do in some of the sessions that I've done is really talk about that mental health is just like physical health. We are one of the same, mind, body, and spirit. And that in all the years where I worked specifically with mental health, we couldn't look at if they had physical health, they had mental health. If they had mental health, that it was physical issues. And it's because they're the same thing. And if we're not taking care of our physical health, we often are not taking care of our mental health. And often people are more likely to take care of their physical health because if their hands start hurting them, they'll go to the doctors. But if they're feeling overwhelmed, they just kind of close in and be quiet and not do anything with it. And talking about, there's been a lot of education, I would say, about understanding that it's our job to address stress. Stress is our silent killer. It's huge enough in our community. And these are the things that we need to attend to. And so mindfulness is a powerful thing for me, and about using the tools around us to be still and access that our inner self is an important part of developing our best version of ourselves. But I will say this, one of the things that I haven't implemented, which I really, and I don't know why, maybe that's something that I need to work on, which is about always starting our events with mindfulness, because I feel like it should be part of, we had mindfulness. We're built to be still, be quiet, be in the moment, be present. And we kind of our society allows us to work out of that and be either in the present or in the future. And as business owners, we're always in the past or in the future. So getting people to think about staying in the present, even for 10 minutes a day, we know it does. There's lots of research to say how it changes the way our brain is developing in a healthy way when we're able to be still and do a mindfulness practice.
Share us one big win you've had with this organization. You've shared the Scotiabank, but share us another win that you've had. And it can either be you yourself, the organization, or one of the members of the organization as part of this journey.
I tell you, I think the big win is that I taking imperfect action daily, which is a big win for me, because I think that I've always leaned on the side of perfection. And I know that limiting belief, that limiting ideology of perfection is my coach said it to me the other day. He said, perfection is something of, what did he say? It's really good. Let me just get it. He says,
No problem.
perfection.
It's the enemy of progress.
Perfection is the enemy of very good.
Okay.
And so for me, it's that my big win is being that even when I've had an event, I've had a meetup and things have gone wrong, or it didn't flow the way I wanted to, or the speaker wasn't whatever, I've not retreated in. I've stepped out of it and been able to say, okay, what's my learning from this? How can I do things different the next time? How can I show up differently? So that's my big win, to keep moving forward.
Well, here's a little tip I'll give you. I ask people this in business. Is it better to be perfect and late or good and on time? Enough said?
Enough said.
All right.
Enough said.
That's a knowledge bomb I'll give you right there based on the things you just shared. What's the next step for the family, for the Black Women Collective family? What's the next step?
The next step would be, the dream would be to have bricks and mortar organization. I have a dream, and I believe in dreams, because if you can dream it, then you can do it. To have an office building with 3 layers, which is middle floor is a co-working space, downstairs is event space, hangout space, and then in the middle of that downstairs, we have at least maybe 10 vendors, 10 women who have product or service base, and that they are funded to have space, to have a shop, a brick and mortar, while they build up their business and while they build up their product, and while they build up their what's the word, their presence, their I can't even think of the word. I don't know. I'm lost for words. But so they have access to the resources they need in order to build their business rent-free, and to get them with coaching into their own brick and mortar premises. And then upstairs we would have like satellites. So all the banks that have great business, small business packages. They come in, they do kind of like these what's the word? I'm losing my words now, but they have
slow down, take it easy.
they have informal sessions with people and appointments with people to help them build and grow their business, with other organizations and businesses, Black businesses that are who are angel funders, who are coaches. They're all there. We are building our ecosystem.
Okay. What's the first step you can take to get to that goal, dream, and desire?
The first thing is that I will be leasing a house, and then I will be renting 2 offices to build up my credit for 18 months. And then I can position myself to go to the bank, Scotiabank, and be access to that 100,000 that allows me to lease the building to begin to build out that dream.
Love it. A strategic plan.
Absolutely.
What can we do to help your family out?
That's a great question. What could you do? I think that if there's any listeners or people who believe they have something to impart on Black entrepreneurial women or resources, then please let me know. I would love to collaborate with people who are in the city of Toronto, the GTA, who want to collaborate. That maybe there's some synergies. Just really just building relationships and connections would be something that would be really great for me and your listeners who are wanting to build their business and grow their business also. So if there's anyone out there that would like to know a little bit more about the Black Women Collective, I'd love them to connect with me.
Another epic conversation is done. Family, that was fantastic. And I love her energy. Doesn't she just have really good energy? And I love it. And don't worry, we're going to find a way to work together and win together. So that's a done deal. All right, let's get some things along the way. So the bottom says you can watch replays of the Morning Vibe on YouTube, Facebook, Afro-Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, Ryan O'Neill Knight, YouTube and LinkedIn. And I've got to add it for next time, indiesoupmedia.tv. You can also watch them there, indiesoupmedia.tv. Especially since Dr. Tachi's here right now. She's a driving force behind that. All right. Let's get some other things out of the way here. Please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Sorry. If you want to advertise your business, product, or service on the platform, please feel free to email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And as always, join our Discord group. Email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. For those who are watching live on the 19th of April or even early in the day on the 20th of April, catch me tomorrow night hosting Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala, where they try to make sense of the nonsense going on in America. On Monday's show, we have Ryan Singh and a host of other collaborators. Ryan in this group has put out a documentary called Ray of Hope about the Tamil Canadian community. Very, very interesting. So that is where we're going. And also, hey, if you want to be on the show, contact me. Email me, dr.vibe. I always keep on forgetting that. dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Or if you have any guest suggestions, we would love to hear them. Let's close it out. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourselves grace. So follow, share, tell people about us. And if you are celebrating a weekend before you're watching this or while you're watching this, have a great weekend. We'll see you, if not tomorrow night, Monday. All right. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith and walk good. Thanks for watching.